Take a look at what high school physical education looked like in the 1960s. Now, take a look at how it often looks like today. My name is Christopher Shore, and I'm a sixth-year MD PhD medical student. For today's video, I want to talk to you about a trend in our society that might be leading the next generation to unhealthier lives. Specifically, I want to talk about the hidden cost of the decline in physical education, or PE, in schools, and what I'll call an ever growing wall turning a wealth divide into a health divide in the United States, specifically happening in our kids. If you stay until the end of the video, you can hear my slightly unconventional recommendation for how we can reverse this public health spiral and do better for the next generation. Just the other day, I was talking to a high school teacher who is spending a few weeks rotating in one of the research laboratories at my university. Talking with her was, frankly, a bit eye opening. I learned that many high schools now require a single semester of PE to graduate, a single semester. Instead of PE, it seems schools have become hyper focused on maximizing academic prep time for strictly desk bound subjects like math and science to ultimately increase SAT and ACT scores. Now more than ever, there have been major cuts to PE and the arts, and I personally think this is the wrong direction for us to go. SAT and ACT scores have been an important metric for college admissions ever since they were introduced in the 1920s and the 1950s. The SAT's early use at places at Harvard aimed to broaden access beyond the elite prep schools. Over the 20th century, however, attending a four-year college became much more commonplace. As SAT and ACT requirements spread, scores became a convenient way to compare large numbers of applicants from across the country. Since then, high schools, middle schools, and even some elementary schools have become completely geared towards college admission. We see this with schools pushing students into overloaded AP course schedules and dedicated test prep blocks, which quietly crowd out time for electives and movement. However, I think we've finally reached a key point where the supposed benefits of college testing might actually outweigh the cost being our youth's physical education. There's a concept called Goodhart's law, which states that as soon as a metric becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. Over time, people typically figure out how to crack or fake a metric. In our rush to optimize standardized testing and test scores, we've become quietly stripping away the structured time that used to keep kids strong and healthy. Over the last few decades, daily high school PE attendance has plummeted, with only 24% of students participating in daily physical education today. At the same time, we're seeing this clinical fallout. Kids are struggling today with much higher rates of childhood obesity, surging levels of anxiety, and increasing diagnoses of ADHD and ADD. Removing an outlet for physical energy during the school day, coupled with increased phone use, is a recipe for catastrophe. The average screen time today for young children is now over 8 hours a day. The twist about all of this is the wealthier families haven't actually cut out the fitness for their kids. The new system we have now essentially replaced and even exceeded in some cases what PE used to offer through a massive private market. The original mission of public education to help every kid have an equal opportunity to be successful in life has failed in this regard, in my opinion. We've replaced it not just with an intellectual divide, but a physical divide too. What I'll call the elite class, representing about the top 20% of households, now provides physical activities through kids' sports programs not offered in schools. This includes club and travel teams, private coaching, personal trainers, year round sports participation, and summer camps. The top fifth of American households by income spend roughly 7 times more on their children than the bottom fifth. And families earning over $100,000 spend on an average of $1,500 more annually on their child's primary sport. These are huge numbers. The youth sports industry is now a $40 billion per year industry, and that number just keeps going up. On a per hour basis, I think it's quite remarkable how much physical exercise for a kid now costs. PE used to be an integral part of a child's schooling where parents and families didn't need to spend a dime. But now, with this new privatized system, families are often expected to pay $20 to $40 per hour of exercise when you factor in coaching, travel, equipment, and tournament fees, all on top of the standard education costs. Please don't get me wrong, schools still implement PE requirements. Ironically, however, wealthier schools are sometimes less likely to meet state mandated PE requirements, despite having more resources. Some administrators feel pressured to maximize academic time, knowing full well that affluent parents will simply foot the bill for private sport alternatives. But these activities are nearly impossible for a single parent or a dual working household to afford or to manage logistically. There's a hidden price to this phenomenon, too. Not only are wealthy families buying fitness time for their kids, but they're also buying social capital. This private funnel creates a network of recruitment opportunities for colleges, athletic scholarships, character development, and physical literacy that translates into lifelong healthy habits, like regularly exercising as an adult, prioritizing nutrition, and even building physical confidence. From a medical perspective, this divide has immediate clinical consequences, as regular involvement in sports means more routine health checkups for a kid, like an annual sports physical. These mandatory doctor visits are exactly where we catch critical issues in childhood development, like early stage scoliosis, exercise induced asthma, hidden heart murmurs, or mental illness. When lower income kids are priced out of sports, they're also inadvertently locked out of routine preventative medicine. All the while, we are expecting those same kids to excel academically to compete for entry into some of the top elite universities. I believe we are inherently building a system where physical health and the opportunities that come with it are treated as luxury goods. I think we missed the original mark of what we were going for as a society with PE. Of course, we want well educated children and adults, but if we want a healthier society as well, we have to rethink how we value physical education. Not just for those who can afford the after school sports teams, but for everyone. So here's my unconventional take on all of this. I think we need better incentives. I think a part of this is a result of social media, of course, and an overimportance on exam scores. And this is coming from a guy who's done traditionally well on exams. I think it would be best to stop looking at PE as an academic elective and start treating it as a fundamental core of youthhood. I think the reason why PE went the way of the dodo bird is because it couldn't effectively evolve with the times. Historically, PE was heavily on rigid drills, intense competitions, and grading physical performance. As culture shifted, modern PE tried to pivot towards participation and engagement. With the rise of more parents siding with their kids in school conflicts with teachers, often for legitimate reasons too, regarding mental health and stress, it is easy to see why PE instructors are sort of left holding the bag. They have no clear way to instill the same discipline and physical work ethic in young kids today without facing pushback. To solve this, I think PE would benefit hugely if we prepared students for the demands of adult physical life. We've seen a massive rise in sports such as pickleball, Pilates, and basic strength training. Teaching young kids these practical activities, along with reminding them of the sheer joy of unstructured play, might be the best way to encourage them to better understand their bodies and to strive for a healthy life. With that, what are your thoughts on the decline of physical education in schools? I would love to hear your comments in the comments section down below. I greatly appreciate your support and for sharing this video to others that might benefit. We have a great future ahead, and I will see you in the next video.